Hi, everyone. Thanks for sticking with us here on Live Impact News. I'm Vanessa Rufus. As we mentioned before we went to break, we want to bring you an extended look at our sit down from just a few hours ago with CMPD Chief Estella Patterson, essentially brand new at the wheel with the agency taking over towards the beginning of this month and facing a lot of looks, if you will, in the sense that CMPD reporting here increased crime and violent crime, for that matter, inside the city center. Also reflecting on some of the immigration enforcement presence that we've seen here in Charlotte lately. My co-anchor Colin Mayfield just sat down with Chief Patterson to talk about her thoughts on all of these and much more. So let's listen in here to what she had to say.
Well, Chief Patterson, I know who you are, so we won't start there, but we'll just jump right in because I know you don't have too much time. So, we have seen a recent survey of Charlotteans saying that they want their police force to be more proactive, right? And it seems like, speaking to that, you have that task force ready for the holiday season. I think you realize, things that happen around this time of the year.
Right.
What other things are you thinking about, or how else do you think that this department can be proactive under your tenure?
Well, yeah, being proactive is super important to me. I want people to see. I want our officers to be visible out front and people see that. So, of course, we're doing our special operation that we're doing around the Christmas season, and that's going to continue. We already have some operations that we do with our Crown Initiative in the Uptown area, as well as our Entertainment District Unit. We have our crime reduction units. They're always out doing a lot of proactive work. We're going to continue to do that, and as we staff up our department, we'll continue to do that and enlarge those units, because it is very important to me that members of the community see our officers and that they see them out and about. And we do walking beats, we do bicycle patrols in our communities, in our neighborhoods. The more we can do that, the better it is for everybody within the neighborhoods and the community.
Well said. Speaking of your officers, right, you made a point even on day one talking about the health and wellness, not even of just of your officers, right, public affairs team, any civilians that work for you in general. Right. Talk about how you're thinking about that and putting them first. Not saying that Chief Johnny Jennings didn't do that, but it seems like that's been something you've specified since day one.
Yes, and that really comes out of a survey while I was going through the chief's process, where employees just felt that they were tired, they were overworked, they were stretched, and that comes directly because of our staffing numbers. So like I said, we really have to work on getting those numbers up, but also to making sure that we have things available for them. We have, a mental health unit, psychologist, those kinds of things. We have a therapy dog. Those are wonderful, but also to making sure that employees have a voice, because when employees feel that they're part of processes, where they're part of solutions, then they feel they're really a part of the team and they're willing to do more for the organization. So I really want to hit the ground with hearing from our employees. I'm going to take a listen, learn, lead approach, where I listen to what they have to say about what's most important. What should we be focusing on as an organization? Where should we put our resources? And then from there, I'm going to challenge them to say, okay, you've come up with these challenges, you've told me some things, where do we go from there? I want you to be a part of the solution. That way we get buy-in, right? And they're invested in the outcomes. So it is important to me that our employees are heard and that they're seen and that they know that I will be out there with them doing whatever it is. I've always been the kind of leader who leads from the front. I want to be a part of what they're doing and that they know that I'm there for them if they need anything.
Love that. Changes. You probably can't go along the list of things that you want to get done right now, but if you can, what changes from a 30,000-foot view are you thinking about, whether it's within the department or maybe outside, things that you see that that need to be taken care of? Can we talk about that?
Yeah, of course. I mean, some of the changes, I'm not coming in to make sweeping changes. I want to come in and assess and see where there are gaps and then try to fill those gaps. But I know for sure one of the things I want to do is just introduce more technology. Want to be able to work smarter and bringing in technology that enables to have more eyes and ears to mitigate crime. It's always about making the community safe. When you start talking about technology, sometimes people think it's because you want to target them, Big Brother's watching, that kind of thing. For me, it's not about that. It's about how do we make sure that individuals are not victimized. So I want to use technology to help us in that area. Also, too, I want to really work extensively on expanding our units, making sure that like our detectives, for instance, have enough of them to be able to build strong cases that are prosecutable so that we can put those offenders, work with our DA's office to make sure that justice is served and those offenders don't get back out. It is critically important to make sure that our units are staffed appropriately. Our training unit, make sure our officers are trained, fully trained, that they have the opportunities to train. A lot of times, because we're running from call to call and we're short, we just don't get that training that we want to get in. So I really wanted to expand that. I think that is really important. And I will say that, under Chief Jennings, the foundation was set. The department was doing a lot of great work. We had some technology, but I just looked to bring a little bit more in and to make sure that, we are doing everything we can with the resources that we have.
Okay. Two last things, then I'll open the floor and see if you want to elaborate on anything. I got to jump into this. You talked about crime. I do host, and we did have, Sheriff McFadden on, right? We host the streaming platform, and we talked to some of the Republican representatives across, whether it's GOP, from the chairman from Mecklenburg County. There's been claims thrown out there, right, about local law enforcement not working with federal agents. I know that Sheriff McFadden has his view, so we won't speak for him, but I just want to talk to you a little bit about what you're seeing, right? We saw the immigration operation about 2 weeks ago. The fear that it instilled in our community, I think for everyone, not just certain parts. And then, you do have this incident on the light rail once again, right? How do you go about not only serving the overall eclectic makeup of Charlotte, but also adhering to what the other side is calling you to do? And again, there are opinions all around, so I don't want to necessarily talk about that, but how are you trying to kind of mire your way through all of this?
Yeah, well, I will tell you, fundamentally, our mission is to protect and serve. That's what the police does, right? We make our community safe, and that's what we want to do. Everyone has their individual tasks, functions, and mission. We know that some of the federal agencies, ICE, Border Patrol, and such, they have a specific mission. I know that when they have to do the job that they do it. For us, we don't enforce immigration laws. That is not our duty. That is not our mission, and we want our residents to know that live in this community. When it comes to working with our federal partners, we have a history of working with them, right? We work with our U.S. Attorney's Office, we work with the DEA, FBI, ALE, all those, HSI, and we have wonderful relationships because we are taking violent criminals off the street. When our other partners from other agencies they want to do that, we will work with them in those areas. If there's an operation where they want to remove a very dangerous felon or a criminal from the streets, we will stay within our boundaries of our job, but we will also support them in that if they're trying to get violent criminals off the street. So it's very clear what our roles are. They don't overlap when it comes to ICE and Border Patrol and that kind of thing. And so we just need to all focus on what our mission is and just doing our jobs.
Yeah. In relation to the light rail safety, it seems like also you've been kind of proactive in that response as well. And I know that you have to work with City Council and CATS as well. What does that look like in terms of how you would beef up safety? I mean, you can't probably station an officer on every single platform, let's be realistic, or every train car.
Right.
It is an open system, right? That's something I think the mayor's looking at. In other bigger cities, we know it's closed, but do you have any thoughts of how to make that safer for folks to ride transit around Charlotte?
Well, CATS is working on that, and certainly they have, they're exploring technology and all these various things. I really am not equipped to talk about that because I don't know exactly, because I'm not part of the transit system. Yeah. What I can say from a police perspective, though, is just having an increase of officers, I think, is good, so that people see those personnel, and then working with private security. We should be working together, not separate, in doing that, and that does make a difference. You hit the nail on the head. You cannot, and the public has to know this, we cannot staff and put somebody on every single train. It's just not feasible, it's not sustainable, it's not something that we can do. But what we can do is use technology. We can try to mitigate as much as possible by having roving patrols going through and talking with passengers, and when you see someone that's disruptive, when you see somebody that might be intoxicated, if somebody doesn't have their fare card, or they are banned from the system, that we act on that we don't allow that person to continue to ride the train or violate the law in any way.
Well said. Thanks for fielding that. Last thing is, I think it's important, and I think that, by you opening up your door by allowing us to come, you are making this a priority to have a relationship with the media, right? What are your thoughts on having like an open dialogue? There's been a lot of discussion, I think, in recent tenures and in other cities, right? Having a transparent police agency that not only is able to give information, right, but also, to their defense, make sure that they keep the information intact to do the investigation. How do you see, under your however many years you're here, utilizing the media's help in that way? Is that something that you...
Yes, I'm committed to transparency. I believe that when we work together, we get a better outcome, a better result. We get information out to the public that they need. For me, it's about responsible journalism, making sure that we put context to the information and that we are providing factual information to the public. When we can't provide it, when I can't give you something, I'm going to tell you that we can't talk about that or we can't disclose it. But when we can, I will. I will make sure that you get it. That has been my history. If you go back and look when I was in Raleigh, I was very out front. Anytime we had an officer-involved shooting, I would petition the release of the body-worn camera. I believe that the public has a right to know that, good, bad, or indifferent, we would do it. And so that is important to me, but I also feel that I look at the media and I lean on the media to make sure that the story is, that the whole story is told, that we add context to it so that the public has all the information. I think they deserve to have that information.
We look forward to working with you. Chief Patterson, that's all I have. Anything else that you wanted to say or
oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Sorry. Anything else you want to elaborate on or talk about that I didn't ask you that makes sense or important? That's important to you?
I would just say, I love this community. I'm so happy to be back in Charlotte. I'm committed to making sure that our officers are doing the work that we have signed up to do and that we hold them accountable. I know oftentimes people feel that the police do things that are questionable. Well, I'm the kind of chief that I'm going to hold my employees accountable. I'm always in conversation with my internal affairs major to make sure that we're doing the right thing. If we have to change policy because something just doesn't look right, we're going to do that because I know that the trust of the public is super important and we always want to maintain that trust.
All right, once again, that was an extended sit down with our Colin Mayfield and CMPD Chief Estella Patterson as she is embarking on this new role for her and a new chapter for CMPD itself.